Hey, what's up, guys? Jordan back on the Jdrew channel, whatever the heck whatever the heck my intro is, because I can't decide. Today we're doing another story time, like we did like the last video, but instead today's special because today is not going to be one of my stories. It's going to be my friend Dylan's story. And if you want to see more of Dylan, the link will be in the description. I don't know if I'll try and get that fixed immediately because I'm doing this all through my phone and I can't do that through my phone. But anyways, that's not important. But today we are starting probably like a 3-part series on the worst friend Dylan's ever had. And trust me, when Dylan told me this story, I knew it had to be a story. I'd like to also thank Dylan for watching, for letting me use this story for my channel. I know he doesn't tell too many on his channel, so he has told a few though. So if you want to watch any of them, they're there. Just go find them. But anyway, so basically, this story is about a kid that Dylan used to know. Oh, also, before I get into that, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. All that good jazz. And let's get into the story. So, there was this kid that Dylan knew, because Dylan's in Boy Scouts, and this kid is also in Boy Scouts. So we're going to give this kid a name. His name is I've been playing a lot of Red Dead, and Micah's a really annoying character, so we're going to name him Micah. So Dylan and Noah, aka Necraftian, whose link will probably also be in the description, go check that out as well. So they know that they eventually get around to meeting Micah, and at first Micah was just a younger scout, and he seemed pretty cool. In fact, the first thing, they were going to sacrifice him to the goat man or something. I don't know, I wasn't there, so I really can't tell you what was going on. But anyway, they basically, but really, to Noah, it was kind of obvious that Tommy was a little entitled and kind of a terrible person. Like, whenever they would play video games, like, if they were, like, playing video games, anytime he was dying, he'd, like, throw temper tantrums, and, like, this isn't a terrible thing, but, like, whenever Dylan would, like, sometimes Dylan would have him in, like, videos or streams, and he'd tell him not to curse, and he'd do it anyways. Like, in his 100th video special, he actually cussed, and Dylan had to bleep it out. And that's not bleep it out, but he had to cut a portion of that video off. So basically, this guy isn't great, and he's really good at manipulating. He's got kind of an ego, and honestly, he's not a fun person to be around. Except Dylan. Dylan sees nothing wrong with this guy. Like, even Dylan. Looking back now, like, even Dylan looking back, he still doesn't, he knows what he did wrong. It's just, like, there's, like, a few things, like, he just didn't realize. However, Noah was a little smarter, actually did realize it. The last straw for him was on Halloween, which I should note that Tommy went as himself. He printed out a picture of his face and wore it, like, okay, yes, I am definitely not a narcissist. That is what that's what he is. That's what also his costume should add, a shirt that says I'm not a narcissist, or I don't have a giant ego, or anything. So, basically, and, Dylan did suggest it, but I'll give him, like, 5% of the blame, because, there's a difference between suggesting someone and someone actually going and doing that. But really, that wasn't the big issue. The issue with this was, like, Tommy and Dylan, I should preface, Dylan doesn't look great in these videos, and he's fine with that. Well, he's not fine with it, but he allowed me to tell these stories, so Tommy and Dylan were kind of making fun of the fact of Noah's costume, and Noah's costume was like, he was like a shadow, but the mask he wore was like a bandana, but it didn't go, like, above his nose, so all you could see was, like, a nose above to, like, a hood. And they were making jokes, especially since the fact that he had his hair, he bleached his hair, so, whenever you took off the hood, it just looked funny. And I don't know, like, that's not bad. It's like, you make fun of your friends, but whenever you're like malicious with it, like kind of Tommy was being, and especially since if you go as yourself, I mean, that's definitely something that it just shouldn't be done. Another thing so Noah decides he's just done being friends with this guy, but he still wants to hang out with Dylan. And he basically is like, listen, Dylan, this guy's annoying, he's a jerk, and he's like, he gives him this analogy, he's like, listen, you can either hang out with me or hang out with him. But Dylan's over here like, I want to do both. And that, that's fair. He wants to hang out with both his friends, but he has to, but, there comes a time when you gotta learn that just won't happen. However, so Dylan has this bright idea to introduce him to his other friends. In fact, another person from the last video, Abigail, she returns in this video, and her boyfriend, who we'll call John, since I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, so so it works. So Abigail and John, they're dating. And when Tommy first meets them, they decided to make this joke, like keyword joke, that they're cousins. Is it a little bit of an odd joke? Yeah. But when you look back, he barely knew these people, and it's like, it's not even that big of a deal. Like, so what? They're making a joke. It's fine. Like, it's not even that big of a deal. And he basically is just like, and they eventually tell him that, hey, we're actually not cousins. We're actually, I don't know if they mentioned that they were dating, but like, hey, we're actually not cousins. So you think the rational is like, oh, haha, funny, or like, oh, that's cool, I guess, or something. Or not, you either not care or just be like, haha, that's funny. But instead, he throws a temper tantrum, getting mad at them, how he lied to them. Note, they haven't known him for that long, so why does he care? It's just a really odd situation. It's just like, what are you, like, what could you why would you possibly care? Like, if I met two people and they said they were cousins, and then later, and like a few days later, I learned that they weren't cousins, I would have been like, oh, that's a little odd, but whatever, I really don't care, you're not cousins. Like, I'd be like, you lied to me, you guys are the spawn of Satan. But apparently, he would eventually get over it, because he was also kind of in this emo phase, and he was like a kind of an emo person, but honestly, that was just a thing about him, like nothing too big, except so eventually he gets Abigail and John's phone number, and he sends Abigail this like really long text. And unfortunate, Dylan doesn't have the screenshot of this text anymore, but from what Dylan told me, it's basically him rambling about how life sucks and no one loves him, but he basically throws in that, hey, but Abigail's nice. So if you read that, you might think, oh, he has a crush on Abigail, which is, whatever. So, so Abigail is basically like, yeah, and so texts him back like, hey, I don't feel that way. It's I just don't feel that way. And he starts getting mad at her because that's not what he meant, and you're taking it all wrong. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, buddy. How is she supposed to take that? Like, was she just supposed to assume, oh, you're just being a really nice guy and complimenting people for like no reason? Like, again, like, why? I mean, it was a compliment, yes, but still, what else is she supposed to take that? Oh man. Maybe don't be, and like, who spills their feelings out like that? I mean, you can spill your feelings to friends like that, but like that, like, talking about how no one loves you, but someone's nice, like, how else is she supposed to take that? And, anyways, and that's that's mainly the problem with this kid, is he was, emo, he was a pretty emo kid, he was also kind of a weeaboo, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, but whenever you take it to an extreme, that's when we run into problems. But really, one of the final straws, and I say one of, which is not great, one of the final straws for Dylan, and also, Noah, other friends, his parents are basically telling him, hey, you need to stop hanging out with this kid. I wasn't, because I didn't know Dylan that well at the time, so I didn't know any of this was going on. Like, I actually knew him whenever I knew him, but he never really told me about Tommy, and he told me, and I knew that something happened with them, and I eventually just got the whole story, and it was, funny, and again, thanks Dylan for that, for the story, and really, so Dylan decided that it was a good idea. So Dylan, would play video games with this kid, and so he was playing video games, and Micah over here is basically like trash at this game. He's like doing a really terrible job. He's dying a bunch, and so he's getting frustrated. So Dylan tells him to calm down, and this is when Dylan is like, and so this is when Micah's like, you're telling me to calm down, like what the heck? And he's getting really mad. He goes into like a group chat, and is basically just talking a bunch of crap, and then Noah comes in, and okay, I would directly quote this, but I don't. But it's like there's a lot of bad words in it, so I will make a loose translation of it. Tommy, you are the worst person to ever come out of Satan's butt, and I don't know how Dylan puts up with your bullcrap. Wasn't what he said, but it's close. So after this, Dylan kind of starts to realize that this kid is maybe a bad friend. And you think the story would end there, where he just blocks him and stops being friends with him. But that's not where the story ends, unfortunately. But I'm going to leave it off here, because that's just where I'm going to leave the story off. I'm going to leave you on the suspense. The next episode will either be tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow or Sunday. Okay, actually, the next episode I'm going to probably get on Saturday, which tomorrow. And then the episode after that will be Sunday, so you won't have that long to wait. But if you want to see it, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to see the next part of the story. So, and I would tell you the moral of the story, but the moral of the story has to come at the end. So, but basically, just remember to be a good friend to people and all that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and keep a lookout for part 2 tomorrow. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Peace.